The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I read this book many years ago and have read it a couple of times. It is phenomenal. It's loaded with great strategies, great information to help you become an effective leader, a successful individual. So with that, I want to dive into today's book notes with some of my biggest takeaways from the book, and I'll also share some of my insights and perspectives on the book. So let's start here. Paradigm. Your paradigm is how you see the world. So this is what you see, and this is how you interpret what you see. So the way we see the world is not necessarily the way it is in reality. It's just based on how we're seeing the world. So through this book and through many experiences in life, you will experience paradigm shifts where the way you were viewing the world changes based on many different factors that we're going to look into today. So with that also, I'm going to mention here and later on in this video that there's a requirement. There's going to be a requirement, and that is a shifting in my thinking. It was Albert Einstein said that the level of thinking that you currently have right now have created the set of problems that you have in your life. But the problems that you have in your life cannot be solved by the level of thinking that you have now. So we're going to need a new level of thinking. So by reading this book and receiving this new information, it expands our mind. It expands our thinking, and it helps us to see in a different way. In fact, I remember many years ago reading a line that stated that when one new thought, when one new idea enters your mind is no longer the same. So as we go through this, I want you to think about your paradigm. Think about how you're viewing the world. Our character is a composite of our habits, which form a powerful factor in our lives. There is the maturity continuum that Stephen Covey addresses in his book. There's dependence, which is the first level, and that's the level where a mother is taking care of a child, or an employer is taking care of an employee, in that sense where the employee is dependent on the employer. So the dependence level is the lowest. The second level after that is independence, which many people feel, well, that's the goal. That's where I want to get to. I want to be in that second level. However, Stephen Covey goes further and says, no, the highest level is interdependence. So interdependence, I'll go into that in just a moment. But these are the three levels in maturity continuum. So the dependence level says, you take care of me. You come through for me. You didn't come through. I blame you for the results. The independence level says, I can do it. I am responsible. I am self-reliant. I can choose. In this level as well is what we call private victory. Private victory has to do with the first three habits. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first things first. So when you have all three of those and you've implemented those habits in your life, you've formed those habits in your life, then you will have that private victory and enter into that independence level. And then there's more. There's the interdependence. Now the interdependence is we can do it. We can cooperate. So this is in fact the highest level. And that's where you find public victory, where you're seeking first to understand, thinking win-win, and synergizing. So we're going to go into that further later in today's video. But before I get to that, let's address habits. Let's address the definition of habits. Now, as you know, habits are powerful, right? Habits are powerful, and you have habits right now in your life that you have formed over a series of days, weeks, months, years that you have formed that have created the type of results that you're seeing in your life today. So habits defined is the intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire. So knowledge is the theoretical paradigm, the what to do and the why. And skill is the how to do. And desire is the motivation, the want to do. So habits, again, is an intersection of these three: knowledge, skill, and desire. Habits have a tremendous gravity pull in your life, a tremendous gravity pull. It was Dr. Dennis Waitley who said that habits are like submarines. They run silent and deep. Habits are so powerful that you're not going to feel it or know that it's there, that you're doing it, because it's just second nature. You've automated your activity. You've automated that specific habit. Now it's just something that just comes automatically. So which means the habits that you're forming, the habits you have in your life, if they are success habits, if they are the 7 habits that we're going to cover here in the book, these 7 habits will automate your success. These 7 habits will automate your success. Now, on the flip side of this, if you have bad habits, the bad habits will automate your failure. So again, we have to look at the habits, and our habits are powerful. And that's what we're going to look into today. So let's look at the first habit. The first habit is be proactive. It means we are responsible for our own lives. And in my opinion, in reading this book multiple times over the years, for me, this is the most important habit. That I must be proactive. I am responsible for my life. So our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions. So responsibility is the ability to choose your response. I choose to be responsible for my life. So you can act or be acted upon. So someone who is proactive says, I can do it, I'll find a way, I can choose a different approach, I control my own feelings, and I will. However, someone who's being acted upon, or someone who is reactive, will say, well, there's nothing I can do. That's just the way I am. I have to do that. And I can't. So you can choose to act or be acted upon. So take responsibility. And the other point too that's important that I would like to add here is that the reactive person blames. Reactive person is always blaming people, situations, circumstances for where they are. But I like what George Bernard Shaw said. He said that people are always blaming circumstances for where they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world look for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they make them. See, the people who are proactive, if they can't find the circumstances that they want, guess what? They go out and make them. They're proactive. They're taking initiative. So I challenge you today to be a proactive person. The second habit is begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. All things are created twice. First mentally, second physically. Individuals, families, teams, and organizations shape their own future by creating a mental vision and purpose for any project. So you start with a map, right? You start with a map. You think about where it is that you want to go, what it is that you want to do in your life. And then you figure out a way to get there. So I'm thinking about the end result. I'm starting with the end in mind. I see it in my mind first before I can see it in the physical, before I can see it in front of me, right? So I've got to start with the map. So I want you to think about, let's say, wherever you are in the world. Think about New York, for example, right? If I'm in Florida and I have to, if I had to drive, right? And perhaps some of you may have to get on a boat or a plane to get there. But for me, who's in Florida, I have to drive to New York. So I have to think about, okay, how do I get to New York? So I see the end, I see the destination, I see where I want to go. And then what I do is then I map it out. So I know I have to take a certain expressway to get there. I know I have to go through several states to get to New York from where I am. So same thing with your life. You've got to start with the end in mind. So start with a map, and then you work through that map as to the steps it will take to get to where you want to be, to achieve whatever goal, whatever project, whatever it may be that you want to achieve. And the next important element, if you will, that Stephen Covey shared in his book, which I found quite powerful, was a personal mission statement. He said that everyone needs to have a personal mission statement. So think about your life, think about the type of life that you want to live, think about the type of person that you want to become. And then you write a mission statement, a personal mission statement. So in fact, he stated that it is the highest form of mental creation for an individual, a family, or an organization. It focuses on what you want to be and to do, and on the values or principles upon which being and doing are based. So to write a personal mission statement, you must begin at the very center of your circle of influence. Whatever is at the center of your life will be the source of these four factors, which are interdependent. So that's security, guidance, wisdom, power, are the four that you can think about that will be at the center there. So begin to think about what it is that you want to do. How do you want it to be remembered? And write or craft a personal mission statement that is in line with your purpose. In fact, when you have a personal mission statement, it helps you to live a purpose-driven life. It helps you to live a life that is meaningful, a life of significance, because you have a target. There is something that you are aiming for, that you're aiming at, that you want to be known for. You want people to, when they hear your name, oh, she is the ... He is, like if someone were to ask you, how is so-and-so, how have your experience been with Michael, or how have your experience been with Marie? And you want to know, you want everybody to be able to say that same answer, right? So think about it. And this is a great strategy, if you will, of making sure that you have a personal mission statement, which will help you to live a more purposeful, purpose-filled, significant, meaningful life. Habit 3 is put first things first. Yes, put first things first. You know how many times we've heard that? Like, put first things first. Make sure you do the most important thing. Well, it is a habit. It must be something that you're doing continually. It needs to be automated, where Every single day, I'm asking myself, what is the main thing? What is the most important thing that I should be doing today? So the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Important, not urgent. So I want to focus on the important. Yeah, there are urgent requests, there are urgent items on my list, but I want to focus on the important. So urgent things act on us and are usually visible. So a ringing phone is urgent. Importance, on the other hand, has to do with results. So my phone could be ringing, that's urgent, so I'll reach to answer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is important. So importance has to do with results. So then what you do is throughout the day, when you're looking through your schedule, you want to ask yourself, what matters most? What matters most? What matters most to you? What matters most to you as it relates to your goals, as it relates to what you want to do? And figure out a way to focus your time, your attention, your energy in those areas of what matters most. So focus on what matters most. Now, here are some questions that you can ask, 2 questions that Stephen Covey shares in his book. Number 1, what one thing could you do that you aren't doing now, that if you did on a regular basis would make a tremendous positive difference in your personal life? Second question is, what one thing in your business or professional life would bring similar results? So these are 2 areas, right? We're looking at the personal life and we're looking at professional life. So ask these 2 questions and look at your answers and then begin to focus on the main thing. The main thing is what's going to make the major difference. The main thing is what's going to bring the majority of what it is that you're looking for. It's that 80-20, right? The 80-20. You look at the main thing. That the main thing is that 20%. The 20%. If you can focus on the 20%, then it will be the 80% will be the outcome. So that means that if I'm putting in the work, I'm focusing on the main thing, then I'm going to move the needle further, right? I'm going to make more progress because I'm focusing on the main thing. And habit number 4 is think win-win. Think win-win. Now, this has to do with relationships. So think about your relationships. How can you think win-win? Now, there are many other ways. Now, this is not a technique. It's a total philosophy. This is in fact one of 6 paradigms of human interaction. So the other paradigms are win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, win, and win-win or no deal. So those are the different philosophies there, different paradigms, if you will. So now, think win-win is a frame of mind that there's, of course, benefit, there's mutual respect, and you're seeking mutual benefit, and you're thinking in terms of abundance. You're thinking in terms of abundance. So you're saying, well, the pie is ever expanding. It's ever expanding. There is more than enough for all of us to eat. There is more than enough for all of us to succeed. So most people have a scarcity mindset. They're afraid that someone else is going to come and take the little bit that they have left. But someone who thinks win-win, who has an abundance mindset, is not afraid of that because they understand that if I'm thinking win-win, you're winning, I'm winning, I'm going to gain, I'm going to get more, you're going to get more, we're both going to succeed at a faster pace because we both have an abundance mindset, and we also know that the pie is ever expanding. So there will always be more than enough for all of us. So think win-win. And thinking win-win, it also helps you. It also helps you to. It encourages conflict resolution. So when you're thinking win-win, it encourages conflict resolution. So if there is some friction, but you sit down with your partner, you sit down with your team, and you say, "All right, let's focus on this. Let's see how we can work this out where it will be a win-win situation." So that will resolve the conflict. It will encourage the conflict resolution, the friction that's there. So when you think win-win, it's not about me, myself, and I. No, it's about we. It's about we. So when you're thinking we, this is amazing because, again, there's more you can do together than you can ever do alone. So think win-win. There are 3 character traits essential to the win-win paradigm: integrity, maturity, and abundance. Let's go on to number 5. Habit number 5 is seek first to understand. Seek first to understand. And I'm going to speed it up here. There's a lot more details to cover. However, I'm only giving you my biggest takeaways from the book, and I'm also sharing my insights and perspectives from the concepts in the book. So number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Every leader, every person needs this right here. How many of us, when we're in a conversation, we're conversing, we are listening, we're speaking, and there's this part of us that says, I can't wait to interject my ideas. I can't wait to jump in and say what I think, without listening, intently listening to the other person to make sure that we are understanding, that we are grasping what it is that they're sharing with us, to understand their view of what they're saying. So many of us, right? Sometimes I have to bite my tongue just to make sure that I'm listening, because I want to be present. I want to be there and listen. And I tell you, early on, many years ago, I struggled with this. And I remember one time someone brought that up, like, Nick, you didn't even wait to hear what I have to say. And you know what I said? I would say, no, I know where you're going. I know what you're saying. I know what you're going to say. So I was filling in the blanks for them. I was completing the sentences for them. And that was wrong. That wasn't good. So I learned, and I have gotten better. I've improved, but there's still room for improvement. So when I'm counseling, when I'm coaching people, when I'm speaking with people, whether it's on a one-on-one or if it's a group, I want to make sure that I'm listening. And what I'll do is I'll ask questions. I'll ask questions just to make sure that I'm understanding what they're sharing with me. So I'll say, okay, here's what I hear you, here's what I heard you say. And please correct me if I'm wrong. And then I would paraphrase what they said based on how I understand, how I understood what it was that they shared. So, and sometimes they'll say, okay, yes, that's right, you got it. Well, no, here's what I meant. They'll go on and explain. So I'm listening intently. I want to learn. I want to understand your view. I want to understand why you think this idea, this decision, or this plan is the best. And then I'll wait, I'll rephrase it, making sure that I understand what they have shared. And then I'll move on to the next step here. So that has worked just wonderfully for me with working with teens, working with my colleagues, working with people in general. Just seek first to understand, then to be understood. See, others will feel affirmed and valued, and defenses are lowered, right? When someone is listening, and if you're conversing, someone is listening to you, they're interested in hearing what you think. What's your opinion? Why do you believe that? Why do you think that's the best decision? And you're listening and you're asking questions just to make sure you understand understood, that you get what they're saying, then they'll put their guards down and they'll share more, and they'll be also ready to listen to what you have to say. So seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now, the effectiveness in all of this is that there must be a balance, right? There must be a balance in this. So I'm seeking first to understand. Now I also want the other person to understand what I am saying, where I'm coming from. So I'll ask them, and I think they'll be more open. People will be more open to hear you when you are ready to hear them, and making sure that you're listening to the best that you can to make sure that you get what it is that they're sharing with you. So then they'll share with you, or they'll pay attention to what you have to say, and then you can work it out from there. So the next habit is habit 6. And that is, try not to compromise, but rather to synergize. Yes, try not to compromise, but rather to synergize. So synergy is 1 + 1 = 3 or more. It means that that whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Synergy is powerful. That means I'm learning to value differences. So value differences in others, differences in your team, and understanding that when both of us come together, we can synergize. So there's an idea, there's a plan, there's a concept, there's a solution that we can come up with together that we could have never been able to come up with individually. So when you come together, when you synergize, there's a trust, right? The trust is high. It is closely related to these different levels of communication. As you can see there, synergy and communication. So there's defensive, there's respectful, and synergistic. Synergistic is the very best. There's high trust there. So I believe that you want the best. Like, we want the very best for this project that we are working on, or for the organization. I'm not out to get you. You're not out to get me. I know that we're coming together so that we can make this work, right? We want the best outcome. So try not to compromise, but rather to synergize. And habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. So sharpening the saw is going back over all of the previous habits there, to sharpen those areas, to improve, to get better. It's been said that the largest room in the universe is the room for improvement. So there will always be room for improvement. So continually improve in the 7 habits. Continually improve in synergizing, in seeking first to understand, in thinking win-win, and putting first things first, and beginning with the end in mind, and being proactive. Continually improve in those areas, in every area of your life, every area. So professional and personal, that I'm sharpening the saw every single day. So constantly renewing yourself in 4 areas. And Stephen Covey shared these 4 areas: physical, spiritual, mental, and social and emotional. So very important. So very important. You want to exercise. You have to watch your diet. Want to make sure that you're eating the proper diet, healthy diet. Stress management is huge. There's also the spiritual aspect of this as well, and that is value clarification, commitment, study, and meditation. Mental has to do with reading on a regular basis. And all of the effective people, highly effective people, are readers. So you want to read on a regular basis. Read inspirational information that will help you to grow, that will help you to become a better version of yourself, a greater version of yourself. So visualizing and planning and writing. And there's social and emotional. That's service, empathy, synergy, intrinsic security, and so on. So these are the 7 habits of highly effective people. These habits are powerful if you work on them on a regular basis to form these habits in your life. As I stated, and I'm going to close with this, what I believe to be the very most important habit is habit number one, and that is to be proactive. Take charge. Take ownership. This is your life. You've got to take responsibility for your life, responsibility for your actions, and whatever happens around you, you're still going to stand firm because you know that you are responsible and you're going to focus on those areas that you can control. And as you are focusing on those areas, you're not sweating the small stuff because everything, it's all small stuff. So just focus on the things that you can control. And as you're doing that, you can work on habit number 2, habit number 3, habit 4, 5, 6, and 7. And all of these habits will help you both privately, private victory, and public victory. That is victory within yourself and victory with other people around you. I hope you have received value from today's book notes video. I have many book notes videos to record, so if you like this type of information, please do subscribe to this channel. Also, like this video, comment below, and share. And also let me know if there's any books that you would like me to share my notes on. I've got a long list that I've read over the years that I can go over and share with you. So also share that with me in the comment section of any books that you would like me to review. And also, if you'd like the notes, my notes, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video, and I will send you my notes of the 7 habits of highly effective people. Have a wonderful day, and remember to unleash your zebra.